What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Carolina David, coming at you again with another video. On today, we're going to be coming from Genesis chapter 29. Before we get started, please go in the description box, follow me on my social media, hit the like, hit the share, and hit the subscribe. Leave a comment. Let's have a conversation. All right, let's go ahead and jump into Genesis chapter 29.
Let's talk with Carolina David. Let's talk with Carolina David. Let's talk with Carolina David. Let's talk with Carolina David.
Okay, this is Genesis chapter 29, starting at the first verse. Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. So now we see that Jacob is now beginning his journey, and he came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field. And lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that they watered the flocks. And a great stone was upon the well's mouth. So as he came upon the land, and he noticed that there was a well, and he saw all these flocks of sheep lying by the well, and there was a stone on top of the well's mouth, basically to keep the well from being, polluted with dirt and everything like that. They just kept it covered. Verse 3. And there were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. And Jacob said unto them, My brethren, where be you? So basically, he's asking, where do you stay? And they said, Of Haran are we. So as the men that was there, Jacob just simply asked, Hey, where you from? And they said, Of Haran are we from. Verse 5. And he said unto them, You know Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said unto them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter comes with the sheep. So Jacob is now inquiring of whether they know Laban, the son of Nahor, and they said that they know him, and he asked, like, how is he doing? And they say he's doing fine. And they seen the daughter of Laban coming with the sheep to water the sheep. And they told him, Look, Rachel, his daughter, is coming with the sheep. Verse 7. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. You water the sheep and go feed them. So basically, now Jacob is saying, like, hey, it's yet high day. It ain't time for all the cattle and everything to be gathered together. Go ahead and water your sheep and go feed them. Verse 8. And they said, We cannot until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. So now the brethren that was there was like, nah, we can't do that, because until everybody brings they sheep together and they remove the stone from the well's mouth, then we can water the sheep. Verse 9. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. So as he was talking with the brethren, Rachel had came along with her father's sheep, because she was basically the tender of the flock. She kept them. Verse 10. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. So as Jacob had seen that Rachel had came with his mother's brother's sheep, and he went and said, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead, I'm gonna roll this stone away, and I'm gonna water her flock for her. And after he watered the flock for her, he kissed Rachel, and That's when he lifted up his voice and he wept. Basically, he lifted up his voice in a sense and praised, like, hallelujah, this is a beautiful woman, or, something of that nature. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. So Jacob had told Rachel, I am your father's brother. I'm I'm his sister's son. And after he told her that, she ran and told her father. Basically, probably out of excitement because she seen that this was a man that watered the flock and whatever, and she was probably ready to be married or whatever like that. Verse 13. And it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. So now we see, after Rachel had told her father Laban of all the things that had happened, he ran and out to meet Jacob, his sister's son. And when he got to him, he hugged him. And when it said kissed him, it ain't talking about kissing on the lips. He kissed him probably on the cheek, like mwah, mwah, like type thing. And he embraced him and he brought him into his house. Verse 14. And Laban said unto him, surely you are my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him in the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, because you are my brother, you should therefore serve me for nothing. Tell me, well, it says for naught, but which means nothing. Then he said, tell me, what shall your wages be? So then it said that Jacob has stayed with him for the time of about a month. And around the time of the month end, that's when Laban came and said, because you are my brother, you should basically work for me for free. But what's your price? Isn't that how a lot of us do today? To where our brothers and our sisters would try to get over on our own kinfolk, our own skin folk, to where they will say something of that nature, like, well, you my family, man. You should give me a ride for free, man. Or you my family, man. You should, you know what I'm saying? Like, bring me something to eat for free, man. You my family, bro. You should come and, like, help me out for free. But what's your price? Just to basically try to butter him up, to try to get him to say, you know what, man, I work for you for free, man. You my family. Verse 16. And Laban had two daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well favored. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter. So now is getting down to letting us know what his wage is basically gonna be. And Laban had two daughters. Leah was tender-eyed, which means that she wasn't beautiful or fair to the eyes. That, in a sense, she was not um, pretty enough for someone to basically want her, in a sense. But Rachel, which was the one that Jacob had first met at the well, that he watered a flock for her, and he kissed her and wept in joy for her. She was beautiful and well favored. And Jacob just basically told him, say, hey, look, I will work for you for free for 7 years if you give me the hand of your younger daughter, Rachel. Verse 19. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to you than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. Basically, stay with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had for her. So now Laban just basically told him, so, okay, that sounds like a plan. Come on and stay with me and work for me. And Jacob had worked for Leah 7 years. which they only seemed like a few days to him because of the love that he had for Rachel. So, you know how it is when y'all love someone, or you want something so bad, or you enjoy something so much that you could be doing it for so long, but yet it don't seem like a long time. For example, like me and my wife, we have been married and together since now 9 years going on 10, but it still feels brand new. So that's basically how it was with Jacob. Verse 21. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. Now listen at the language that Jacob just spoke. At the end of the 7 years, Jacob had told Laban, give me my wife. No one performed any ceremony. No one had gotten any rings. No one had said, do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife or anything? None of that had occurred. But Jacob said, give me my wife that I may go in unto her, which means that he may go in and have sex with her, that he may lay with her. So, for all of you that say that marriage is when you go and get a ring put on your finger, marriage begins with the thought of a man saying, that's my wife. When he claimed her to be his wife, that's when you're husband and wife. And then when what solidifies the marriage is when, like he said, that I may go in unto her, when you have sex with her. That's why I tell everyone, sex is marriage. Verse 22. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. So now Laban has basically played a trick because he didn't keep to his word, which was the word that he said was, okay, I will give Rebecca, okay, I will give Rachel unto you. It's better that I give her to you than I give her to another man. But now that the end of the 7 years has come, he had brought Leah to him. So for him to go in unto her first, and which he did, which that basically meant he married Leah first. But Laban tricked Jacob, and we're going to see why. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for an handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said unto Laban, what is this you have done unto me? Did not I serve with you for Rachel? Wherefore then you have beguiled me? Basically, why have you now beguiled me? Why you tricked me? So now that after the feast, which was basically a party, you know what I mean? And that's why we have today, after a lot of these weddings that they have, where they do all the church stuff that they have after it a wedding reception like we have today. That's where we got it from. That's the reason why he prepared a feast, a basically a party for this ceremony, which is when a man have sex with a woman. That's the ceremony. All this other stuff that we're doing now is just for monetary gain. It's just for money. But when the next morning had came, and I know people probably be like, well, how did Jacob not know it was Leah instead of Rachel? You got to think about it. It was a feast, meaning it was drinking and drinking of the wine and eating. He was probably drunk because they had a party. So, but anyway, the next morning when he woke up, he saw that it was Leah. And he just basically went to Laban and said, what is this that you have done unto me? Did not I serve you for Leah these 7 years. Now, why is it that you tricked me and brought Leah instead of Rachel? What's going on? And Laban said, it must not be done so in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give you this also for the service which you shall serve with me yet 7 other years. So now, Laban said, hey, it's not custom in our country, man, to give the younger born. Fulfill her week, meaning 7 days, they have a party for this marriage. It's a 7 day reception. So that's why he said, fulfill her week. And then he said, after this, uh, I will give you Rachel also for these yet other 7 years that you're going to work for me. So now we know that Laban had tricked Jacob for him to get free service for another 7 years. Isn't that the same thing that we do today? You got people right now who are family members who be like, hey man, I know you let me borrow that $100, man, but look, let me pay you back. I know I said I'm gonna pay you back this coming week, but let me pay you back next month, man, when I get my check. Or let me pay you back next in 2 weeks when I get my check. Or let me pay you back next income tax time, man, when I get my income taxes back. It's the same thing today in 28. And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week. And he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. Hey, all you pastors out there, do you not see that Jacob had 2 wives? Why is it that we tell people, oh, it's only meant for a man to have one wife? It don't necessarily say one wife. Even in the New Testament, it says, let every man have his own wife. If a man have uh 10 wives, every one of them is his own wife. But anyway, Jacob, which is the which is basically chosen of God, had 2 wives. But anyway, Jacob, being now a good man, he did just that. He fulfilled the week of Leah, and then Laban had gave Rachel also. Verse 29. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. So now we see that Laban had gave Rachel to be his wife also, and just like he did with Leah when he gave his handmaid Zilpah, now he given Bilhah his handmaid, to be Rachel's maid. And it says that he went in unto Rachel also, basically meaning that he married her also. And but yet he loved Rachel more than he loved Leah. And he served yet another 7 years for Rachel. Verse 31. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Now look at this. For a lot of women out here today that are barren, that can't conceive a child, it's the Lord shutting up your womb. Because it said that when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he did what? He opened her womb. For what? For her to get impregnated by Jacob and to conceive and to have a child. But he closed the womb of Rachel. So that means instead of going out here to these doctors and stuff like that, taking pills and medicine and all that to try to have a baby, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. Seek the Lord. Pray unto God and ask him to open your womb. Verse 32. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, surely the Lord has looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. Listen at this. It's the same thing today. Now, Leah had conceived, and she said, surely the Lord had looked upon my affliction, which means that surely the Lord has seen that I'm not loved like Rachel is loved. But she had conceived and had a child, named him Reuben, which Reuben is basically the firstborn of Jacob. And she says, surely my husband will love me. You got a lot of women out here today that will have a baby by a man that she know he don't really care for her, but she'll have that baby by that man anyway, just to try to keep him. That don't keep a man. You got to stop this. Just like Leah had a child to basically be loved by her husband, we're about to see what's going to happen. Verse 33. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, because the Lord hath heard that I was hated, he has therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore his name was called Levi. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing. So now at the end of chapter 29, we see that Leah had 4 sons: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. And the first 3 she was trying to get her husband to love her as though he loved Rachel. She was trying to get him to be joined with her as though he was with Rachel. But that didn't change anything. So women, stop having these children by these men in hopes to get this man to change. What will change this man is the fact that you can influence him to change. And if you can't influence him to change, that's not the man for you. So you need to evaluate these men before you even give yourself to them. Because as you can see, once you lie with a man, you're then considered to be married in the eyesight of the Most High God. That's marriage. The twain shall be one flesh. But after Leah had all her 4 sons, she then became barren, meaning she can't have no more kids. So that is it for chapter 29. We're going to go to chapter 30 at a later date. I'm going to say good night, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you may be watching. I pray y'all have a blessed and peaceful night rest, or have a blessed and peaceful day. Peace.